Thank you Pak
inspire
Yos.
us, Pak.
Oke, thank you. Dan thank you juga Pak Marlo. Tadi belum sempat sapa Anda, Pak. Oke. And good morning everybody. Selamat pagi semuanya. Very happy to be here. Ya, senang sekali. Dan nanti jika bahasa Indonesia saya kedengaran agak aneh sedikit, harap maklum. Karena saya masih berwarga negara Singapura ya. Asal dari Singapura, sudah 30-an tahun lah di Indonesia. Oke. Nah, dan dari tadi saya sudah ikut, saya mulai ikut dari presentasinya Pak Victor ya, dan kemudian Pak Yos ya, dan impression yang saya dapat ya sebagai orang luar, impression yang saya dapat adalah of course selain dari apa your amazing performance, prestasi, pencapaian itu yang menakjubkan ya. Nah, impression yang saya dapat adalah the atmosphere is very happy. Atmosphere is very happy. Suasana hari ini penuh dengan sukacita dan saya terbawa dalam sukacita itu ya. Jadi saya mau lanjutkan sessionnya from what Bapak Victor and Pak Yos has spoken. Ya, saya mau continue aja ya. Dan once again, congratulations on 20 amazing years ya. Congratulations ya. Dan especially the beginning of the year, prestasinya amazing ya, amazing sekali ya. Oke, langsung kita masuk ke poin saya ya, dan saya sudah mau share. Oke, by the way, makalahnya jika Anda rasa ini bermanfaat dan sebagainya, silakan kalau mau foto silakan aja ya. And if you want to take notes, please feel free to take notes. Oke, ya. Yes, Ibu sudah bisa lihat, teman-teman sudah bisa lihat, apakah sudah bisa lihat slide saya?
Sudah Pak James?
Sudah ya? Okay. So my topic today is the spirit of excellence ya, and well, that is what you have been doing. That is what you have been doing. This is nothing new ya. Kalau tidak ada spirit of excellence, nggak mungkin Anda bisa ya, bisa growing from year to year, strength to strength over 20 years. Apalagi the first few months of this year, ada ukir prestasi yang menakjubkan. Dan dari apa yang Pak Victor dan Pak Yos sudah presentasikan ya, saya lihat bahwa there are more and more innovations to come ya, non-stop innovation. Nah, itulah bagian dari spirit of excellence ya. Dan what I want to share with you adalah the spirit of excellence ini harus di cascaded downwards gitu ya, bukan hanya di top management, level manager, tapi harus di cascaded downwards. Dan hari ini saya lihat amazing banget, lebih dari 500 orang hadir ya, jadi sekaligus ya. I hope I can touch all of you to have the spirit of excellence. Oke ya, sehingga apapun yang kita kerjakan adalah spirit of excellence itu. Oke ya, dan saya sendiri juga ya, walaupun definitely not at your level of spirit of excellence ya, but at my personal capacity, saya selalu menuntut diri sendiri spirit of excellence. Saya selalu menuntut diri sendiri ya. Okay, so I try my best to walk the talk. Okay, so teman-teman, we all know lah, business 20 tahun ya, success is a journey. Betul ya, and the journey continues. You have journeyed 20 years ya, and the journey will continue. Seperti Pak Diki bilang ya, kita harus selalu aware of what's going on, and not just 20 years, kita mau sukses lagi di tahun-tahun yang akan tahun-tahun ke depan ya. So it's always like this ya. Excellence, business success is from peak to peak. Betul ya. You achieve one peak, you are very happy with it, you are very proud of it, deservedly so. And then you continue to innovate, you continue to strive, and you achieve another peak. Yeah, okay, yeah. And it never ends. The journey never ends. Ya, jadi from peak to peak, success is like that. To me, excellence is also like that. Ya, dan kita sudah masuk ke kondisi seperti ini. Changes now, changes ahead. Yeah, and I just want to remind you with this quote by Charles Darwin. Yeah, and he said this nearly 200 years ago. Yeah. It is not the strongest of the species that survive. Very interesting. It is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but rather the one most adaptable to change. Ya, dan Anda bisa lihatlah, ya, apalagi Anda di bisnis ini, ya, change-nya itu dari kanan kiri depan belakang. Kalau mau boleh catat nih, ya. Change ini dari the new normal, which is right now. Change, ya. We change from normal to lockdown to the new normal. Yeah. So in a space of like 6 months, we have had to go through 3 changes. Dalam 6 bulan aja, Januari sampai Jun, kita sudah lewati 3 perubahan. Ya. Dan kita terpaksa Ya, lakukan 3 perubahan. Satu adalah dari awal normal-normal aja, Januari, Februari normal-normal, awal-awal Maret normal-normal, tiba-tiba lockdown. One change. Ya, and because of the lockdown kita harus adapt. Ya, kita harus adapt work from home. Right? Ya, adapt our lifestyle. Kita harus cari cara yang baru, and after maybe 1 month, 1.5 months, kita ketemu momentumnya. Ya, okay? So, a few changes within the lockdown. Nah, sekarang lockdown sudah hampir selesai, ya. Kita sudah bisa semi, ya, bisa work from home, work from office, work from the field, ya. Kita observe protokol. Nah, itu pun satu adaptation. Ya kan ya, pakai masker aja satu adaptation loh. Awal-awal kalau maunya lepas, betul ya, oke. Okay? So we have to adapt in the way we work again, in the way we do social distancing, ya. Bagaimana komunikasi dengan pelanggan, dekat tapi jauh, jauh tapi dekat, oke okay? Ya. Bagaimana kita komunikasi lewat Zoom dan sebagainya, harus adapt. Nanti kalau sudah vaksin ditemukan, ketemu nanti akan ada the next normal lagi, and so on and so on. Apalagi technology changes all the time, you have to adapt. Okay, so the key to the journey, the key to success in the journey is the adaptability to change. Ya, nah kalau kita bicara tentang adaptability to change, di mana-mana dunia pun, di mana-mana perusahaan pun, termasuk Anda dan saya 500 orang ini, ada yang sangat agile, ya, adaptable, ada yang not so agile, ada yang agak berat untuk change. Betul ya, there will always be 3 groups of people. Ya, nanti kita akan bahas, okay, in further detail. Right. So my topic today is the spirit of excellence. Okay, this is my topic, the spirit of excellence. So my question is, what is excellence? Betul ya, karena excellence itu kadang-kadang dipakai, okay, excellent work. Excellent work. Okay. Oh, very interesting. Yeah. Excellent work. Good job. Excellent work. Okay. Your presentation was excellent. Very good. Okay. So what is excellent? Yeah. Excellent is actually this. Okay. Excellence. I will go step by step. Karena ini basisnya. Yeah. Excellence is the quality of being outstanding or extremely good atau exceptionally good. Okay, ya. And kita pun tahu outstanding and extremely good itu satu relatif. Kedua, is like a shifting goalpost. Betul ya? Kita outstanding hari ini, tapi kalau kita nggak improve, yang dulu outstanding 6 bulan kemudian udah jadi standar. Tahun depan udah dianggap ketinggalan. Betul kan ya? So that's why it is the gradual result of always striving to be better. You see? So kalau kita bicara tentang excellence, excellence is never achieved. Gitu loh. Excellence is never achieved. Because kalau kita sudah achieve, nanti ada next one, betul ya? Ada something that we can do better. Yeah, so excellence is a never-ending journey, and excellence always. Kalau kita mau excellent, kalau kita mau spirit of excellence, kita selalu harus bilang kepada diri sendiri, sebagus-bagusnya, I can do better. That's the spirit of excellence. The spirit of excellence is not the result. The spirit of excellence is not orang puji kita. Okay, the spirit of excellence adalah kita bilang ya okay, well done. Kita layak bangga dong, kita layak happy dong, kita layak yang give ourselves a pat on the back that we did a good job. Everybody appreciate, everybody really happy with us, and then we say, okay, I've achieved that. What can I do better? That's the spirit. Okay, so in all that you do, jadi maka dari itu ya, dari presentation dari Pak Victor ya, saya sebagai orang luar aja dengar, gila ini keren banget ya, and therefore you have been outstanding, extremely good. Anda ukir prestasi yang belum pernah terukir dalam 2 bulan 3 bulan, Anda udah capai result yang amazing. Very good. And if you have the spirit of excellence, what you will say after this is, okay, I can do better. Okay, I can do better. Okay, what we achieve in 3 months, now I'm going to achieve in 2 months. Ngomong sih gampang, prakteknya setengah mati. Okay, maka itulah serunya. Okay, Anda dan saya, kita get excited because there is something more that we can achieve. Kalau semua sudah tercapai, You nggak interested, you nggak excited. Saya masih ingat ya awal-awal my friends, awal-awal ya, awal-awal saya mulai karir saya ya, kalau diundang oleh perusahaan makanya ya Malaysia undang saya, wah saya excited banget loh, saya excited banget, wah, wow, akhirnya ada perusahaan luar negeri mau undang saya, pergi ya. Terus mana lagi? South Korea undang saya, wah sampai Korea Selatan kenal saya, pergi ya. Terus apa? Mana lagi? New Delhi undang saya. New Delhi undang saya. Wah, mau pergi. They were so happy. They asked me back another time. Mumbai, I did. Okay. And then the news spread to Moscow. Moscow, wow. Ukraine, right? And so on. Afrika Selatan. You know, I achieved all that already. In the beginning, I wanted to achieve it because number one, I've never did seminar overseas. Yeah, I want to stretch myself, get out of my comfort zone. Number two, supaya my CV looks good. Okay. Tapi kalau lu sudah seminar di Moskow, sudah seminar di Ukraine, lu mau seminar di mana lagi? Betul ya? The most exotic, the most challenging would be a foreign language kan. Moskow 4.000 orang. Nggak ada satupun bisa bahasa English. Gua nggak bisa bahasa Rusia. Oke, ya udah pakai penerjemah. 4.000 orang pakai penerjemah, seminar 6 jam. Oke, wah itu dedekannya setengah mati, but I pull through. Everybody's very happy. Okay, so now I've achieved that. What else to achieve? And because there is no more else to achieve in terms of seminar luar negeri, I am now not excited kalau diundang seminar di luar negeri. Bayangin, 2 years ago saya diundang seminar di Den Haag. Seminar di Den Haag 1 jam, suruh gue pergi ke Den Haag seminar 1 jam, gue bilang nggak mau loh, dibayar US dollar seminar sejam, setelah itu jalan-jalan di Den Haag, gue nggak mau. Kenapa? Not excited anymore. Betul ya? Oke ya. See, when you lose the excitement of something new, something better, suddenly itu polos banget loh. Suddenly no drive. Dia drive saya di other areas, but drive saya, passion saya, excitement saya sudah bukan seminar di luar negeri lagi. Okay? So you see that passion to keep on wanting to do better is very important, because if you lose that passion of I can do better, you lose the excitement in your work. Okay? Yang bikin excited itu adalah susahnya, betul nggak? Yang bikin excitednya susahnya. Bisa nggak ya? Bisa nggak ya? Capai nggak ya? Berat loh gila. Nah, karena berat dan sulit itu, kalau kita capai kan sense of satisfaction-nya, sense of achievement-nya tinggi banget, betul kan ya? So, the excellence is that, my friends. Yeah, excellence is the gradual result of always striving to be better and to be better, so that when we achieve that, people say that was extremely good. Extremely good, outstanding. And then you say, thank you very much. Let's shift the goalpost, go higher. That's the spirit, okay? Ngomong sih gampang, prakteknya susah. Tapi the point is this, nanti kita bahas ya. So, excellence is not a skill. Excellence is not a skill. Excellence has got nothing to do with knowledge in that sense. Excellence is an attitude. Okay, attitude maksudnya apa? Bukan positive attitude, negative attitude, bukan. Saya nggak mau klise itu. Ya, excellence is an attitude, meaning I have to have the attitude to want to be better. It's an attitude kan? Ya, tapi kalau ya udahlah, udah bagus, gue capai. Then that's an attitude kan ya. Tapi kalau itu ya udah bagus sih, tapi ya yuk kita harus lebih bagus lagi. That's also an attitude, betul kan ya? Atau mana mungkin bagus, gila kondisi kayak gini, lu lihat aja kanan kiri semua pada susah. That's also an attitude, you see. So excellence is an attitude. Excellence is an attitude that says to yourself, not to anybody else, to yourself, to say I can be better. That's an attitude. Okay, so if you want your organization to be better, if you want your team to be better, it has to start from you and me kan ya. I have to want to be better, and only when I want to be better can I push myself to be better, and then because I push myself to be better, I have the moral right. I have the moral right to expect better from people around me. Betul kan? Yes. Saya leader of my company. Okay, I'm the leader of my company. Yeah, And everybody, waktu COVID, everybody looks at me loh. Everybody look at me. What are we going to do? Okay, and I have to come up with things. And puji Tuhan dari pertengahan Maret sampai sekarang, ya saya bawa Zoom. I was the first trainer in Indonesia to switch to Zoom learning paying. Ya, dari begitu lockdown, ya langsung saya bikin 15 modul Zoom learning sampai hari ini. This is my 115th Zoom session since lockdown, and a total of 28,000 people have attended my Zoom learning. Okay, ya, so and I push myself. Satu hari bisa 4 sesi loh. Satu sesi 2 jam ngomong di depan kamera sendiri kayak gituan. Ya, and I push myself. Because I push myself, yeah, my staff started to follow. They get the momentum, okay, and I expect more of myself. That's the spirit of excellence, yeah. Okay, next, what else can we talk about? Yeah, in terms of therefore, yeah, it is an attitude. Okay, now the question is this: you and I know striving for excellence itu perlu effort yang besar. Striving for excellence itu perlu pengorbanan yang cukup signifikan. Betul kan ya? So the question is, untuk apa kan? Why? Kenapa nggak satisfied aja gitu loh? Ya, kenapa nggak satisfied aja? Oke, now sebelum kita masuk ke sini, saya mau clarify sedikit beberapa konsep. Oke, excellence itu sama perfectionist itu apa? Oke, ya. Kadang-kadang orang bilang, lu terlalu perfeksionis, betul ya, seolah-olah perfeksionis itu adalah satu negative point. Okay, now the point is this: excellence dan perfeksionis itu dekat-dekat, ya. Karena dia mau excellent, maka dia punya bawaan perfeksionis. Oke, dan karena dia perfeksionis, dia lebih mendekati excellence, betul kan ya? Dan perfeksionis itu adalah justru satu attitude bahwa it can be better. Perfeksionis itu adalah satu attitude. Kalau sudah tahu bisa lebih bagus, kenapa lu terima substandard? Betul kan? Itu perfeksionis, ya. Saya perfeksionis sampai brosur saya satu ejaran salah, kalau saya tahu itu cetak ulang, bikin ulang. Okay, and my staff knows it. Ya, sampai mereka bilang, Pak James, ya cermat banget, perfeksionis banget, detail banget. Ya, because brosur yang keluar itu mencerminkan saya, betul nggak? It's a reflection of me. So if the brochure is substandard, it reflects me being substandard. Betul kan ya? Itu perfectionist, itu spirit of excellence. Ya, jadi jangan sampai apa yang keluar lepas dari tangan Anda itu bisa ngomongin orang. Standar kayak gini aja dilolosin. Standar kayak gini aja dilolosin. Itu sudah enggak perfectionist. Itu sudah tidak menuju ke excellence. Betul kan ya? So if you want to ask me, apakah perfectionist, excellent mirip-mirip? Buat saya mirip-mirip dalam arti attitude-nya. Attitude-nya. Seorang perfectionist selalu rasa satu, kalau bisa lebih improve, kenapa kita terima substandard? Agak reset. Perfectionist itu agak reset. Oke, dan orang-orang di sekitar dia hanya akan respon dengan dua respons. Oke, satu, sebel. Kenapa? Gila orang ini nggak puas, reset banget. Oke, kedua adalah kagum. Oke, satu, orang akan sebel sama Anda, atau kedua, orang akan kagum. Dan akibat dari kagum, itu sikap excellence itu menular. Sikap excellence itu menular. Sehingga bawahan Anda, anak buah Anda, rekan Anda, tidak akan kirim ke Anda sesuatu yang substandard untuk di-approve. Dia akan lihat 10 kali dulu sebelum dia kasih ke Anda. Betul kan? Because they know you expect no less. Okay? Itu the spirit of excellence. So the spirit starts from us. And then, if you are consistent about it, that spirit of excellence spreads around you. Okay? And then, you lift it up. And it becomes the whole team, spirit of excellence. The opposite of spirit of excellence is the spirit of mediocrity. Mediocre pun kita loloskan. Mediocre pun kita bilang oke. Okay. Nah, kalau kayak gitu, penyakit itu akan menular. Penyakit itu akan menular. Oke okay, ya. So the spirit of excellence is very important. Oke, okay, teman-teman. Ya, next apa lagi yang mau kita share? Ya. So, why is spirit of excellence? Why do you need to be excellent in business? Why do you need to be excellent in business? Okay. By the way, sesi saya 1,5 jam. Setelah itu kita buka untuk Q&A ya. Why do you need to be excellent in business? Because of this. Because if you are not improving, your competitors are improving. They are not going to wait for you. Betul kan? Ya, seperti Pak Diki bilang kan ya. In spite of your amazing achievement, your competitors are not sleeping. Mereka lebih agresif, ya. Dan agresifnya kadang-kadang bukan agak berbeda dengan Anda. Anda agresifnya dari sisi investing in quality. Ya kan? Anda investing in quality, investing in technology, investing in the human capital. Anda agresifnya ke sana. Tapi mereka karena tidak punya capability ke sana, dia agresifnya dengan banting harga kan? Okay, now you have to decide which direction you want to go. Lu nggak bisa jor-joran investasi quality, teknologi, and people, and at the same time banting harga. Lu pasti bingung. Betul kan ya? Because it's one or the other. You cannot have both. How can you invest billions and then lower your price? It doesn't work. Betul kan ya? So if you have chosen the route to be investing, to be better and better and better, you cannot look back anymore. You cannot look back and say, I need to lower my price in the face of competition. Nggak bisa. You have to go faster than your competitor. You have to be so much better sehingga tidak ada basis for comparison. Walaupun harga Anda mahal, tidak ada basis untuk comparison because you are so far away. Contoh ya, mau nonton sepak bola, pertandingan Manchester United, oke, dibandingkan dengan Manchester United ya, dibandingkan dengan nonton sepak bola pertandingan Norwich City dengan West Ham misalnya. Itu harga tiketnya beda loh. Harga tiketnya beda. Betul bukan? Harga tiket MU mau lawan sama siapapun, harga tiketnya mahal. Oke, kenapa? Karena players-nya berbeda kan ya. Auranya berbeda kan ya. The Theater of Dreams-nya kan berbeda kan. History-nya kan beda. Legend-nya berbeda. There is no comparison in price. Why is MU ticket so much more expensive than Norwich City ticket? No basis for comparison. Lu mau tanya pun sudah nggak perlu tanya. Betul kan? You have to go in that direction. Supaya tidak ada competition. You are straight ahead. Betul? Sampai orang bisa membanding-bandingkan. Sampai orang bisa membanding-bandingkan antara Anda dan kompetitor, itu menunjukkan gap Anda belum jauh. Gap Anda belum cukup jauh di mindset-nya customer Anda. Di mentalnya mindset customer Anda. Tidak cukup jauh dan tidak cukup jelas sehingga dipertanyakan. Nggak ada orang tanya. Nggak ada orang perlu tanya. Kenapa tiket MU lebih mahal daripada tiket Norwich City? Nggak ada orang tanya. Nggak perlu tanya. Because the difference is so clear. Alright, the excellence is so different. Alright, that's why you need to be continuously excellent in business to widen the gap between you and your competitor. Because when you widen the gap, you have a justification for a higher price. But if the gap is so close, how do you justify? Betul kan? Itu for business. Ngomong sih gampang, praktiknya susah. But Anda beruntung banget. Anda beruntung banget di perusahaan Anda masih ada dan mau dan vision dan prioritinya bukan banting harga, tetapi push for excellence. And your company is prepared to invest in the push for excellence. Jadi your focus, jadi hari ini saya ajakkan, your focus must not be worried about the price compared to your competitor. Your focus must be to ngegas the excellence sampai the gap is so far, nobody asks anymore. Nobody asks anymore why you are more expensive. Okay, that's what you should be. Ya, ngomong sih gampang, tapi it's an ongoing journey. Okay, and everybody has to have that understanding. Everybody has to have that mindset. Okay, we want to be excellent to widen the gap, and we want to widen the gap so far that they cannot catch up. And when they cannot catch up, they give up fighting with you. They fight with the rest. They won't fight with you. Too far. Okay, ya. Next. Nah, maka dari itu, in the middle of this difficulty in COVID, ya, lies the opportunity. Dan semua provider nikmati peluang increase in subscription, increase in users, betul kan ya? Especially the residential. Ya, semua orang gila-gilaan. I know you experience it. The first 3 weeks into COVID, kayak gila, betul kan ya? Semua orang mau ada internet di rumah. Betul ya? Semua orang tanya, kenapa internet gue hang? Betul kan ya? Karena overload the whole of Indonesia. And your infrastructure termasuk your outsourcing, your vendor, not prepared for this huge increase in volume. Babak belur semua. Okay, right? But now sudah stable sedikit. Ya. So, as you increase in your subscription and users, jangan lupa loh, kompetitor lo juga increase loh. Kompetitor lo juga increase loh. So, what is your increase compared to your competitors? Itu yang gue curious pengen tahu. Betul kan ya? Okay? If you increase double and they increase 1.8 times, ya, that's very close loh. Betul? Nah, dan Pak Diki tadi bilang juga, and I agree, and I foresee, with the increase in this volume, comes an increase in the load of service and maintenance and the speed of response time. Kan the next challenge gitu. Ya kalau lu ada 1000 pelanggan dibandingkan dengan lu 100.000 pelanggan, kan bebannya berbeda. Response time-nya harus sama cepat. Betul ya? So, dan saya lihat disinilah peluangnya. Kenapa peluangnya? Karena kompetitor Anda juga alami peningkatan. Oke? Dia alami peningkatan, Anda mengalami peningkatan. Tapi bisa-bisa, walaupun dia mengalami peningkatan dari subscription, for example, dia belum cukup improve untuk bisa maintain the serviceability level. Betul kan? Nah, so this is where you have to beat them, betul? Sehingga you continue to improve in your serviceability kan? Karena volume sudah kita dapat nih. Volume sudah kita dapat. Jangan sampai with an increase in volume, you get an increase in complaints. Then what's the purpose? You only get more people unhappy with you, right? What for? Mendingan nggak usah. Betul kan? Okay, so challenge untuk Anda adalah increase in numbers, maintain or improve serviceability. That is the opportunity. That is the opportunity. Karena dengan banyak subscription, pasti provider-provider lain fail to maintain that level of support. Sehingga akibat dari itu lebih banyak orang kecewa dengan mereka. Dengan dia kecewa dengan mereka, dia pindah ke Anda. Karena dia dapat testimoni dari subscribers Anda yang bilang di sini bagus. Betul kan? Nah, so are you seizing the opportunity? Okay, seizing the opportunity in terms of increased sales, yes, but seizing the opportunity in terms of increased service level, seizing the opportunity in terms of almost zero dropout. Bisa nggak? That's the next challenge, betul? Excellence-nya ke sana. Oke ya? Very interesting. Saya lagi suka dengar presentasi dari Pak Victor, agile-nya keren banget Pak Victor. Oke. Nah, jadi inilah ada satu tulisan ya dari kuno Tiongkok ya, untuk Anda yang bisa baca, ini boleh baca ya. Tulisannya ada, mau tulis ya, mau tulis ya, ejarannya. The first word is pu, some of you know ya, pu. Oke. Pa. Pa-nya pakai H, emphasisnya ada H-nya. Pa. Man. Je. Pa. Chan. Oke. Pu. Pa. Man. Je. Pa. Chan. Ya. Pu means tidak. Tidak. Pa takut. Pu pa berarti tidak takut. Man itu slow. Pu pa man, nggak takut pelan. hanya, pa, takut, can, berdiri diam. So, an ancient Chinese proverb already says, nggak takut kalau pelan, cuma takut kalau diam. Okay, that means, kenapa? Kalau kita pelan, ya, pelan, walaupun pelan, minimal juga ada kemajuan kan ya. Even if you walk slowly, you are still moving forward. But if you stand still, bukan berarti kita tidak maju loh. Kalau kita berdiam, berarti kita mundur. Nah, ini signifikan. Kalau kita berdiam, kita mundur. Kenapa? Lah kalau kita berdiri diam, kompetitor kita jalan pelan-pelan, dia tetap maju kan relatif ke kita. Jadi, the Chinese proverb itu bilang, lu kalau maju pelan-pelan, improve slowly juga nggak apa-apa. Tapi yang paling mengerikan, lu berdiri diam. Karena lu kalau berdiri diam, pasti mundur. Dan diam ini does not mean staying still, doing nothing. No. Diam ini means every day doing the same thing. Itu juga lari di tempat. Betul kan ya? Nah, itu pun mengerikan. Okay, busy but no improvement. Keep doing the same thing but no improvement. That means no spirit of excellence. No spirit of excellence mengerikan. Kenapa? Berarti lu mundur. Serajin-rajinnya lu mundur. Sesibuk-sibuknya lu mundur. Betul kan? So, pupaman, cepat. So you ask yourselves every day, ladies and gentlemen, you ask yourselves every day in your work, hari ini ada improvement nggak dibandingkan dengan kemarin? Kalau tidak, lu udah jalan di tempat nih. Kalau hari ini lu nggak ada perubahan, berarti lu jalan di tempat. Berarti you have just allowed your competitor one day to catch up with you. Right? You have just given them one day to catch up with you. Okay, so that's the spirit of excellence. Ya, ngomong sih gampang, nggak segampang itu. I know, but it's the spirit that counts. This is the spirit of wanting to do, improve bit by bit, day by day, gradually. It does not have to be rocket science seperti Pak Victor bilang. Does not have to be one jump across the moon. Nggak usah. Small improvements, kaizen. Yeah. Okay. And you go read this book. Okay. Go read this book, In Search of Excellence. Yeah. This book was written in the 1970s, 1980s kalau nggak salah. Tom Peters. Yeah. This book sold 300 million copies. 300 million copies worldwide, In Search of Excellence. Okay, they wrote about some of America's best run companies at that time, of course. Ya, dan apa yang buat mereka culture-nya dan sebagainya. Okay, go read this book. You will be inspired. You will be inspired. I read this book when I started my career, when I first started my business in 1988. Saya baca buku ini. Ya, gila, and it stuck with me. Yeah, so the value stuck with me. Okay, so that's why I am what I am today, partly because I read this book. Yeah, secara langsung maupun tidak langsung, these values rub off on you. It will rub off on you. You got to read good books. Okay, yeah, read this book, In Search of Excellence. Now, so you got to keep raising the bar. Keep raising the bar for yourself, for your team, and to distance yourself with the competitor. You have to raise your bar. Okay. Nah, kalau raise your bar, otomatis what will happen? Otomatis orang-orang yang bermutu dan orang-orang yang tidak bermutu itu akan tersaring dengan sendiri kok. You will be able to immediately filter the men from the boys, betul kan ya? The high quality with the low quality kan ya? You raise the bar. Yang bisa catch up, they are the ones. Yang get lost and left behind along the way, they are the ones you probably want to drop off later on. Betul kan ya? So raising the bar will increase and improve the quality of the people around you. And when you improve the quality of the people around you, it is easier for you to become excellent. Because yang jadi kendala untuk kita bikin menjadi excellent, bukan orang-orang yang mau excellent. Bukan. Yang buat jadi kendala untuk perusahaan Anda jadi excellent adalah orang-orang yang tidak mau jadi excellent. Itu yang adalah bobot mati perusahaan kita, betul? Those are the dead weights, betul kan ya? Okay, those are the dead weights kan, and you are carrying them along, you know. So you got to raise the bar to filter off who are those good ones and who are those who need to be left behind. Okay, yeah. And again, Why do you need to be excellent in life? Ini menarik sekali ya. Jadi because to me every time I do my training, saya nggak bisa separate work from life. Ya, because it's not like that. We are not like that at work and then we go home we totally change. Nggak bisa. Okay, values kita we bring in life and in work together. Gitu loh. Okay, we are what we are every day. How you do the little things are how you do everything. Betul kan ya? So in life and in work is the same. You can't be excellent at work and then mediocre in life. You can't be like that. Okay, you can't be excellent at work and then be mediocre at home. You can't be like that, right? If you are disciplined, you are disciplined. If you are not, you are not. Betul kan ya? So you can't be one or the other. So why do you need to be excellent in life? Because my friends, why you need to be excellent in life adalah karena we want to be in the top tier of the population, betul kan? We want to be up there. We don't want to be in the middle. We don't want to be down there. We want to be up there. Okay, satu, ya. Number two, very important. To me, this is very important. Because kita semua ada anak. Okay, sooner or later, all of us will have children. Okay, and we, like it or not, will be the role model for our children. Like it or not, you will be the role model for your children. And your children will look at you and see, how is my dad and mom? Are they disciplined or not? If they are not disciplined, why should I be disciplined? And if you are not disciplined, you have no moral authority to tell your children to be disciplined. Misalnya, lo bangun aja nggak rapiin ranjang. Lo gimana suruh anak rapiin ranjang? Betul kan ya? Ya, you bangun jam 10 pagi. Lo gimana suruh anak bangun jam 7 pagi? You have no moral right. You suruh anak baca buku. Lo satu buku pun nggak baca. You have no moral right. Betul kan ya? You tell your children to stop playing games and you never let go of your handphone. You have no moral right. Betul kan ya? So you need to be excellent so that you have the moral right to expect at least discipline from your children. Betul kan? And they look at you. They are looking at you. Satu kata aja. Lalu papa gimana? Lu skatmat. Dia tembak aja. Lalu papa gimana? Lu skatmat. You tell your children don't smoke and you smell of smoke from head to toe. Okay? How you going to tell them not to smoke? Not possible. See, you have to be the example. You have to be the role model so that your children strive towards excellence because they see in you the relentless drive to be better and better and better for them. For them. Okay? Yeah. So, see, my children, I think, are proud of me. Kenapa? Di kondisi COVID ini, semua orang tua lagi komplain, lagi melempar, lagi ini. I am doing Zoom day in, day out. And I'm telling them this is what I'm achieving. That you can achieve that in COVID. Yes, I achieved this in COVID. Okay. My revenue in COVID only dropped 30%. Only dropped 30%. Okay. And my job has always been seminar offline, hotel seminar. Begitu lockdown, order gua dari Maret sampai Juli batal semua. Maret sampai Juli batal semua. And in 2 weeks, I switch it to Zoom. And we are doing fine. Okay? So then, I can tell myself, you see, I showed an example to my children. And my children can say, gila ya papa ya. Gila. COVID pun nggak ada matinya. Tuh. COVID pun nggak ada matinya. You see that? Okay? Nah, to me, that is more important. Result nanti dulu. Nggak apa-apa. And I'm sure, let me tell you, if you are excellent or near excellent, striving to be better and better, the result will come. The result will come. Ini berbanding lurus kok. You cannot be better and better, and then the result get worse and worse. It does not work that way. Betul kan? The result gets worse and worse when you become worse and worse compared to your competitor. Okay, you can be improving at a scale of 7, but your competitors is improving at a scale of 9. Although you are improving, you are still losing. Betul kan? Yeah, so you have to be like that. So when you are excellent, you want to strive to be excellent, lo harus lihat kanan kiri lo. Lo harus lihat kanan kiri. What are the others doing? Okay, yeah, so excellence is relative, betul? Outstanding, exceptional, and these two are relative to what other people are doing. Okay, so why do you need to be excellent in life, teman-teman? Nah, sekarang kita prakteknya ya, bukan praktek lah, explanation in detail. Di dunia ini, manusia bisa dibagi 3 kelompok. 3 types of people. There will always be forever and ever 3 types of people. Di dunia, di setiap negara, di Indonesia, di Singapura, di Malaysia, di setiap kota, di setiap perusahaan, ya setiap bagian, setiap divisi, more or less people can be divided into 3 groups. Okay, let me bring the flip chart. Okay, 3 groups of people ya, teman-teman. I'm gonna draw something here. Silakan teman-teman kalau mau ikut grafiknya boleh. Kalau enggak apa-apa. Yes, okay. Manusia di dunia ini, di setiap negara, di setiap kota, di setiap perusahaan bisa dibagi seperti kurva lonceng. This is called the bell curve. Bisa dibagi kurva lonceng, ya. Di mana bisa dibagi 3 bagian. 3 bagian, maka 3 bagian ya. Satu, ya. Bagian pertama ini agak kecil dikit. Bagian ujung juga kecil, bagian tengah banyak. Okay? This first group of people normally compositionnya 20 to 10 to 20%. 10 to 20%. Okay? 10 to 20% are the stars. These are the stars. In every organization, they are the stars. Okay? Ciri-cirinya apa? Ciri-cirinya they are very concerned for the company. They always have new ideas. They are always challenging for improvement. They're challenging for improvement. They are criticizing. Yes, they are criticizing. But after and behind every criticism and complaint, dia ada solusi. We shouldn't be doing this. This is bad. This is no good. This is no good. Now, I suggest this. Ya gini. Okay ya. Beda sama ini nggak bagus, ini nggak bagus. Lalu ada ide nggak? Nggak ada. Nah itu parah itu. Oke, komplain tahu, usulan nggak ada. Oke, yang gini ya, komplain, kritik, tapi ada usulannya. Ya, these are the people number 1. Concern, selalu ada ide, selalu ada usulan. Ya, dan ya mereka ini kalau dia ketemu masalah di lapangan, dia putar otak. How to overcome this problem? What's the solution? Dia putar otak sampai akhirnya dapat solusi, masalah selesai, dia lapor ke atasan, Pak, tadi di lapangan ada kendala loh. Lalu gimana? Saya pikir-pikir, akhirnya saya pakai ini, saya ajak kerjasama, ya udah beres. Dia ada kendala. Dia ketemu kendala, dia putar otak, dia ketemu solusi, dia lapor ke atasan, beres. Nah, oke. Nah, maka semua atasan appreciate banget sama dia. Karena kita punya orang-orang seperti ini, kita bisa tidur nyenyak sebagai atasan. We know we can sleep well because we have a group of people who are totally reliable. Those are the stars. Okay? They may not be the most intelligent. Okay? They may not be, ijazah sarjananya belum tentu bagus. Yeah, but you know you can depend on them. Those are the stars. Okay? Sesusah-susahnya, you can depend on them. Reliable. I learned something, from Shiv Khera, one of those motivators. He said, the key to success is to be reliable. Betul ya? Banyak orang pintar, banyak orang punya akal, banyak orang punya sarjana setumpuk. Tapi sedikit saja orang yang bisa diandalkan. Reliable. You give them a target, they say, yes, I'll achieve it. And you know they will jump to the moon, they will run along hoops, they will do everything it requires to achieve the target. You know they are reliable. You know they won't come back and say, I cannot. Betul ya? Somehow they have it. These are the stars. Okay? And in every organization, there are 10 to 20 people, 10 to 20% of the people like that. In any team, there are 10 to 20% at least stars. Okay? Yang di tengah, 60 sampai 80%, ini adalah RT-RT. Singkatan untuk rata-rata. Okay, these are the average people. Okay, the average people ciri khasnya apa? They are not bad ya, they are not bad ya, they are okay ya. Average people adalah kita kasih dia tugas, dia jalankan tugas. Oke, ketemu masalah di lapangan, mentok, dia balik. Dia tanya ke atasan, Pak, di lapangan Bapak suruh saya begini, nggak bisa loh Pak. Nggak bisa. Ya, jadi gimana Pak? Dia tanya, jadi gimana Pak? Kita pikir, oke, kalau begitu kamu coba cara ini ya. Oke, siap Pak, siap. Dia jalan. Oke, ketemu lagi masalah, mentok. Dia balik lagi, Pak, nggak bisa Pak, saya sudah coba Pak, nggak bisa, katanya gini. Jadi gimana ya Pak ya? Nah, kita yang mikir lagi, kita yang mikir, dia yang kerjain. Ya, mentok lagi, nggak bisa, balik Pak, saya sudah coba, mereka bilang nggak mau Pak, mereka bilang nggak setuju gini. Gimana ya Pak ya? Dan lu putar otak lagi, dia jalan lagi. Okay, so these are the average. They are not bad. They do as they are told, but they have no ideas. They have less initiative. Jadi buat orang-orang ini, dia tetap jadi beban buat atasan. Karena gua yang harus mikir, dia jalanin. Berarti kalau gua nggak mikir, dia nggak jalan. Kalau gua nggak mikir, dia nggak jalan. Banyak orang-orang kayak gini. Banyak orang-orang kayak gini. Jelek nggak? Enggak sih. Ngomong negatif nggak? Enggak sih. Jalan tugas nggak? Jalan sih. Inisiatif ada nggak? Dikit. Oke, dikit. Ya, ini yang dipakai otot. Oke, and then you have a 10 to 20% RT. RT. Apa itu RT? Kalau RT rata-rata, RT ini rusak total. Rusak total Pak Carlo. Oke, rusak total. Maksudnya apa? Maksudnya adalah kalau ini belum suruh udah jalan. Ini suruh jalan. Ini suruh segudang alasan nggak bisa. Nggak bisa Pak karena wah pasti susah Pak. Lalalala. A whole lot of excuses and reasons. Lu ngomong sama orang kayak gini ya, capek loh beneran. Capek, oke ya. You go to office, aura kita bercahaya-cahaya. Ngomong sama dia 15 menit aja, kita keluar dari ruangan, suram loh aura kita. Lelah. Sampai kita, ya terserah loh, lu mau jalannya, mau jalannya terserah dah. Oke, yang gini. Oke, pursuit of excellence. Oke, and, siapa lagi? This group of people. Rata-rata tetapi sudah yang mendekati bintang. These are the people who aspire to be stars. These are the people who admire the attitude and work ethos of the stars. They want to become. So in your organization, my question is, who are the stars? And who are the aspiring stars? Okay, 3 types of people. And if I were to ask you the question, this question, kalau saya tanya Anda, atasan Anda, kira-kira atasan Anda akan tulis nama Anda di bagian mana? Nama Anda akan muncul di bagian mana? Oke, di sanalah letak masa depanmu. Di sanalah letak masa depanmu. Di sini, downsizing is the first one to go. Okay? The boss will say, adios amigos, bye-bye, terima kasih, don't come back, thank you God. Yeah. Bye. Okay? Next group to go, this. Okay? This very difficult to go. Yeah. This, I promise you, your boss will think of everything and anything possible to retain you. Pindah lu kemanapun, dia nggak bakalan lepas. Jadi, if you are here, you don't ever need to worry about being retrenched. Orang-orang yang worry di sini, betul? Orang-orang yang worry di sini, and they deserve to worry because they have not been contributing. Nah, okay, so in this world, there will always be 3 types of people. And the reality is this, okay, if you talk about pursuit of excellence, it is this group. Spirit of excellence, it is this group. Kita nggak perlu pretend, kita nggak perlu munafik. Okay, this group. Some of you after this will be on fire. Okay, some of you, okay, on fire for 3 hours, after that gone. Some of you are saying, alah udahlah, kapan lu selesai lah. Okay, gua mau makan siang. Okay, di sini. Yeah, we all know that. Okay, yeah. So we hope through this session, more and more of you shift towards this direction. Okay, pursuit of excellence is an attitude. You cannot go for excellence if you are not interested to become better. You cannot. Impossible. You have to want to become better first, then you go for excellence. Betul kan ya? If you can't be bothered, yang penting dapat duit, I don't care, you will never be excellent. Forget it. Gitu ya, oke? Itu realitinya. Kita nggak muluk-muluk kok, oke? Nah, maka dari itu, one of the ways to do that ya adalah dari buku ini 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which is excellent. Go read this book. Ya, kalau malas read the book, nonton YouTube aja, oke? Dan habit number 1, in summary, is this, which I think is a beautiful thing, oke? 3 kalimat, my friends. 3 kalimat. Kalimat pertama di sini, kalimat kedua yang agak gede, kalimat ketiga yang bawah. Yuk kita baca-baca sama-sama ya. You cannot control everything that happens to you. Fair enough. Betul ya? You and I cannot control 95% of the shit that happens to us, we are not in control. Okay? Siapa in control COVID mau tiba? You and I are not in control kapan vaksinnya ditemukan. You and I are not in control what our competitors are going to do. Betul ya? You and I are not in control of what the government policies will be like. Yeah? You and I are not even in control of the things that other people think about us. You and I are not in control. Kita mau baik sama orang, orang mau jahat di belakang kita, kita nggak bisa kontrol. Betul ya? Jadi even kadang-kadang ya ngomongan pasangan hidup kita aja kita nggak bisa kontrol. Betul kan? Ya. So 95% of the shit that happens around you and me, we are not in control. But you can only control the way you respond to what happens. Nah, jadi ini 95% you and I are not in control. Tapi di sini 100% we are in control. 100% we are in control. Okay? Dan my favorite sentence is this. In your response is your power. Yeah? In your response is your power. Wow. So that means, okay ya. Kondisi negatif. Kita respon secara positif. That's the power. That's the power. Kondisi negatif, kita respon secara negatif, itu semua orang bisa. Kondisi positif, semua orang respon positif, semua orang bisa. Tapi kondisi negatif, kita respon secara positif, itu yang keren. Okay? Now, notice they use the word respond. They don't use the word react. Beda ya, teman-teman. Oke, saya bedakan. Ya. Ada bedanya antara react and respond. Okay, that is a big difference. Ya. React itu cenderung spontan. React itu cenderung spontan. And reaksi itu cenderung untuk survival. Contoh ya. Anda nyebrang jalan raya, tiba-tiba ada klakson. Pong! Secara responsif, ya, secara reaktif, kita mundur, betul? Kita mundur, ya. Kita misalnya pegang cangkir yang panas, ya. Oh, pegang, panas. Lepas, betul ya? Lepas, betul? Itu reaksi. Nggak ada orang sudah panas, dia mikir, ini kira-kira panas nggak ya? Kalau saya lanjut gimana? Saya kalau bertahan gimana? Nggak ada orang mikir, betul ya? Panas, lepas, betul ya? That's reaction. Reaction is survival mode. Reaction is mamalia. Every animal reacts. Betul kan? Animal reacts. Even a dog, it runs away kan ya? It's reaction. They don't think. React just to survive. Okay, we need to have reaction to survive. Klakson mobil kita mundur, teko panas kita lepas. Itu reaction. Itu very animal instinct. Okay, what is response? Response is before you react, you stop and think. Saya punya alternatif apa? How can I respond? Kalau saya respon ini, konsekuennya apa? Kalau saya respon itu, konsekuennya apa? Masalah ini sudah menimpa ke saya, bagaimana saya tanggapi dan sikapi sehingga hasilnya bagus. Itu respons. Oke? Nah, orang-orang yang dalam kondisi negatif bisa respon secara positif. Berarti kita bilang dia punya ability untuk respond properly. Betul ya? Ability to respond properly. And orang-orang yang punya ability to respond properly adalah orang-orang yang responsible. Responsible itu berasal dari kata responsible. Able to give the correct response in any situation. Good situation, they are able to give the right response. Bad situation, they are able to give the right response. And because they are able to give the right response, they are responsible. Okay? Right? Easy to say, hard to do, I know. But that is where we go. So my question is, how responsible are you? Meaning, in a difficult situation, do you respond positively? In a negative situation, do you respond positively? That is where you show your responsibility. Sulit untuk capai target. Tetap kamu respon dengan kerja keras, lebih inovatif, lebih kreatif, tetap capai target. Itu responsible. Okay? So, be responsible. Basic foundation, basic stone is to be responsible first. Because if you are not responsible, you can't go for excellence. You can't. Because the opposite of responsible is irresponsible. Don't care. If don't care how to be excellent. Betul kan? Right? So that's very basic ya. So step by step. Okay? Jadi strive for excellence ngomong sih gampang. Tapi I want to break it down. What makes a person able to do that? Ini dia. Okay? Being responsible. And number 2. Okay, understand your job desk. Okay, understand your job desk. Okay, ini karena ada Pak Yos di sini, ya saya nggak masuk ke arena job desk yang ditulis. What's your job desk? What's your KPI? Enggak. Okay, yang saya mau ngomong job desk ini silakan catat teman-teman. Kalau Anda if you are still with me, ya catat. Job desk yang saya maksud ini adalah satu, nggak ada orang pernah ceritakan ke kita. Okay, nggak ada orang. Nobody told you. Number 2, it's never written anywhere. Sudah nggak ada orang kasih tahu, nggak ada tertulis. Dan nomor 3 adalah walaupun nggak tertulis, walaupun nggak ada orang kasih tahu, everybody assumes you know. Everybody assumes you know. And because they assume you know, when you don't do it, orang nilai kamu negatif. Okay, so what's your job desk? Let me give you an explanation. Ya, seorang petinju, ya ditonjok sampai hidungnya penyet begini, ya sakit nggak? Sakit. Ya, let's say in one round, ya, pang, dia hajar ya lawannya. Oke, giliran dia, tok, ditonjok, pam, pun ditonjok. Ting, istirahat. Begitu istirahat, petinju kembali ke sudutnya dan dia bilang ke coachnya, coach, saya mau ngomong. Ngomong apa? Coach, saya mau ngomong. Ngomong apa? Coach, apaan? Coach, ya apa? Aku ditonjok loh. Ada nggak petinju dalam sejarah lapor ke coachnya bahwa dia ditonjok? Nggak ada. Ada nggak petinju kaget karena ditonjok? Enggak. Ada nggak petinju patah semangat karena ditonjok? Enggak. Ada nggak petinju perlu dimotivasi karena ditonjok? Enggak. Ada nggak petinju resign, komplain ke tetangganya karena ditonjok? Enggak. Kenapa? Dia tahu job testnya ditonjok. Has it ever been told to him that, you know, to be a boxer, you must get ready to be punched? Nobody told him, right? Is it written in the contract that in every fight, lu ditonjok 300 kali? Nggak ditulis kok. Tapi semua orang asumsi, dia udah tahu kan? Nah, itu job desk-nya atau resiko profesinya. The job desk of the boxer ditonjok. Pemain sepak bola, job desk-nya sekali-sekali keterajang muka sampai pingsan sebentar, betul? Pernah komplain? Enggak. Have you read anywhere in the world a footballer resigned because the ball smashed into his face? No footballer on planet Earth resigned because of that. Have you read or heard anywhere footballer kaget, depressed, demotivated because the ball smashed his face? No, he knows that's part of his job desk. Pembalap motor jatuh ketimpa motor, patah tulang, job desk. Betul ya? Job desk. Kalau nggak siap patah tulang, jangan jadi pembalap. Okay, so they all know their job desk. Nobody told them, it's never written, but everybody expects that. So what's your job desk? Okay, your job desk is you and I. Our job desk is to solve problems, right? Nobody told us, but everybody expects us to solve problems. I pay you not to do the work. I pay you to do the work, and in the process of doing the work, when problems come, solve the problem. Don't tell me the problem. I know the problem. Petinju, coach, aku ditonjok. Ngapain lu kasih tahu? Jitak aja orang itu. Betul ya? Oke. Okay? Coach, bola terajang ke muka. Emang lu nggak sadar? Betul ya? Oke. Okay? So you see, your job is to solve the problem. And the irony is, 80% of employees don't solve the problem. They report the problem. And 20% complain about the problem. Okay, can you see the attitude problem there? Yeah, okay, yeah. So, you and I are all paid to solve the problem. Bayangkan seorang dokter gigi. Ya, malam-malam dia rebahan sama istrinya, dia bilang, "Mah, saya sebel, Mah. Sebel apa? Gua sebel banget ya. Kenapa setiap orang datang giginya lubang? Kok sebel banget lihat orang buka mulut gigi lubang. Bininya jitak kepalanya, betul nggak? Bego lo. Kita hidup dari gigi lubang, betul nggak? Coba kalau giginya lubang, rumah ini pakai bayar pakai apa? You should be happy that there are problems so that you are employed, right? Okay. And the funny thing is this, the very thing that employs you, that is the problem, and you complain about it. And you want a job with no problems. If the job has no problems, your salary will be less. Betul kan ya? If you don't have a problem, get a robot to replace you. The robot doesn't complain. Ya kan? Ya, okay, ya. So, you and I paid to solve problem. Okay, I make it very quickly, ya. What problems are we paid to solve? Two, basically two. In fact, only one. In fact, only one. Okay, you and I, ya, are paid to help your company. Catat, baik-baik. Okay, atau mau ingat, gue ngomong pelan-pelan. Anda dan saya digajiin untuk bantu perusahaan Anda lah, lebih spesifik Anda lah. Anda digajiin untuk bantu perusahaan Anda tingkatkan profit. That's it. That's it. That's it. Okay, at the end of the day, your job, no matter what you do, adalah bantu perusahaan Anda tingkatkan profit. Not revenue. Not revenue, profit. Okay, because at the end of the day, the shareholders don't look at revenue. The shareholders only look at two things. Number one, market share and profit. Betul kan? They don't care. Revenue goes up, but profit goes down. They still hang you. Okay, kecuali in the process of profit menipis untuk tahun ini, market share increase. Okay lah, justify lah. Okay, in the pursuit of market share, we compromise profit. Boleh. Tapi kalau market share nggak increase, profit nggak naik, lu 1 tahun kerja apa? Kita kan sibuk, gua nggak mau tahu. Betul kan? At the end of the day kan gitu kan ya? Okay, so your job is to help the company increase profit. Nah, increase profit hanya ada dua sih. Hanya ada dua. Increase revenue or reduce cost kan? So, question is this. Okay, dimanapun fungsi Anda, what is your contribution to help the company increase revenue? Or what is your contribution to help the company reduce cost? Okay, kalau lo hanya kerja, tapi tidak bantu perusahaan setiap hari semakin efisien, semakin hemat, semakin ngirit, sehingga cost-nya turun. In the pursuit of excellence in production, in the pursuit of excellence in operations, sehingga you get more things done at a lower cost. That is the excellence. Betul kan ya? The context of excellence is how do we improve our service? How do we do more things in the same time tapi at a lower cost kan ya. The only way to do it is to keep improving kan. Nah, improving itu kan excellence. Jadi tujuan dari excellence in business adalah supaya profit naik kan. Jadi kalau nggak ada excellence, profit nggak bisa naik. Oke, ya. Excellence is how do we get more orders kan? How do we increase customer retention kan? Supaya revenue meningkat kan ya. Nah, kalau nggak ada excellence, lu kalah bersaing, revenue turun. You see? So you need excellence in business, otherwise you are dead. Because your revenue cannot go up, your cost cannot go down. All right? Okay? So every day think of ideas to help the company to increase the revenue or to lower the price, to lower the cost. By being more creative, by being more efficient. Okay, how to do that? Now, ya tuh, pay to help increase profit. Two ways lah ya, increase revenue, reduce cost. Ya, you need ideas. Tetapi kembali, you can't change what you don't know, right? How to change what you don't know? You can only change kalau oh iya ya benar ya. Oh ya bisa. Ah baru kita bisa change kan? Tapi kalau kita nggak tahu apa-apa, gimana mau change? I mean, you and I, we do the best that we know how, betul kan ya? The best that we know how, we improve. Okay? So nobody taught me parenting, for example. Yeah, natural. Yeah, based on the best that I know how, I try to be the best father that I can. Tapi kalau saya baca buku, there's a way to do it loh. Kalau anak begini, oh, ngomong sama teman, oh, kalau anak gini, oh ya, bagus juga, bagus. Then I can change, betul? I have something new coming in, then I can change. If nothing new comes in, I cannot change. So, kalau kita bilang, you need to keep on improving. How on earth can you improve if you have no ideas? You can't improve if you have no ideas, betul? Maka dari itu, you have to have continuous learning. Agile-nya, Pak Victor masuk nih, agile. L itu learn. True. You need to have continuous learning so that you have new ideas, then you can change and improve, and that's where excellence comes in, betul kan ya? Because you have ideas to improve. New ways. Nah, learning nggak perlu harus baca buku sih. Learning juga bisa YouTube. Learning juga bisa bincang-bincang sama orang. Learning juga bisa learning dari experience dari cabang-cabang lain. Betul kan ya? Oke, cabang-cabang lain they've done it. Why do we have to reinvent the wheel? Belajar. Oh iya, bagus juga ya. Gue bisa terapkan ya. Ya udah silakan. Learn. Pokoknya you learning from somewhere, somebody. You must learn. Oke, learn apa aja? Apa aja. Oke, nah maka dari itu ya. Ini yang saya tanggapi, waktu Pak Victor ngomong buru-buru saya cari slide-nya. Gordon Moore, mantan CEO Intel. It was in the 20th century lah, 1980s, 90s, yeah, he made this statement. The illiterate of the 21st century is not someone who cannot read and write, but someone who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn everything that he has learned. Buta huruf loh. Bayangkan orang-orang yang nggak bisa operate Android atau iPhone, ya, tapi masih pakai, maaf, Nokia, oke? Okay? Di dunia teknologinya buta huruf dia, buta huruf. Kenapa? He's not functioning, he can't function, betul kan ya? Buta huruf. So buta huruf itu bukan orang yang nggak bisa tulis, nggak bisa baca. Banyak orang bisa tulis, bisa baca, punya ijazah sekolah, tetap buta huruf. Karena he has not kept up with the times. Oke, sungguh ini pengakuan. I hampir buta huruf loh. Maksudnya apa? Begitu COVID datang, my offline seminar batal. I say, Dai, what to do? And then my friend say, Pak, go and do Zoom. Swear to God. Apa itu Zoom? In March, okay, March 2020, 15th of March, they said, do Zoom. I say, what is Zoom? Never heard of Zoom, man. They say, if you don't know Zoom, try Google Meet. Worse, what is Google Meet? Sekarang dia bilang Google Meet, sudah nggak pakai Hangout. Hangout. What on earth is Hangout? Never heard before, you know. And I nearly buta huruf. Tapi karena kepepet, gue belajar. Tiba-tiba, gue harus unlearn dan relearn kan. At 59 years old, I learned Zoom. Okay, relearn. Otherwise, gua buta huruf. Begitu gua buta huruf, gua nggak bisa cari makan. Bisa kan? Begitu gua buta huruf, I'm irrelevant, you know. Can you imagine if I can't train in Zoom? I am irrelevant to the world. I'm irrelevant to the world of training because I cannot function. I only know how to conduct training in the hotel. I am irrelevant. I will not be used. Betul kan ya? See, you got to be relearn. You got to relearn. Otherwise, you are irrelevant. And how quickly do you have to relearn? This. In the 21st century, you have to learn and relearn every 1.5 years. And that's about how quickly technology changes, betul kan ya? Ya, so tapi Anda di teknologi nggak khawatir lah. Anda di teknologi nggak khawatir ya. Banyak orang outside your scope, gila buta huruf banget lah. Kasihan lah, kasihan. Ya, dia stres ya, karena because they have no other way. Okay, now finally I end with this ya, connecting the dots. What do you need to learn? Steve Jobs said, it's all about connecting the dots. Yeah. You learn this, you learn that, you hear this, you hear that, you experience this, experience that. Semua separate incidents, relatively not connected. Tapi one day, with all those knowledge, experience, and all that inside your library, someday when problems happen, you can connect it. And then you say, oh, that's the picture. Here, like this. Right? Anak kecil kan ya? Dia nggak tahu gambar ini. Jadi gambar ini apa ya? Kita tahu sih, kita nggak mau kasih tahu. You just connect the dots aja deh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. You just live your life journey. You just live your life journey. You learn whatever you can learn. Learn as much as you can from anywhere and anyone. Okay, get all those bits and pieces. One day it will come in useful. You will join it and you will see the picture. Okay, it's about connecting innovative secrets of Steve Jobs. Okay, he learns from everyone everywhere. Nah, tidak ada satupun yang diciptakan oleh Apple yang sungguh-sungguh teknologi dari Apple. Nggak ada. Apple itu paling pintar pakai teknologi orang digabungin jadi satu to create something new on the platform of other people's innovation. Betul kan? On the platform of other people's invention. But they are damn innovative because they can join the dots very, very well. Join the dots, okay? That is how you can be creative, kan? That is how you can be excellent. Habis mau gimana lagi? Mana mungkin lu duduk diam-diam staring at the coconut tree and you get an idea? You can't get an idea if there's nothing new inside, betul kan? Right? So you got to be able to join the dots, okay? So, wow, banyak sekali, dan I leave you with this, yeah? From Zig Ziglar, one of my gurus. When you grow, your income will grow, definitely. We all want our income to grow, but our income is a direct proportion of our relevance to our company. The more relevant you are, the more you are a valued member of the company, the more you will grow, right? Kalau nggak valued, gimana? Okay, so, and your value and your relevance will change. Buktinya, banyak pegawai-pegawai senior dilepas, betul kan ya? Because we can appreciate their past services, we can be loyal and faithful to them. But at a certain point, once they pass that relevance, mau nggak mau kita harus kasih golden handshake, betul nggak? Because of while we appreciate, we cannot carry this weight. You have to be relevant. Okay? So, it's a journey, and I wish you enjoy the journey. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed it. Saya serahkan kembali kepada Pak Yos. Silakan Pak Yos.
Terima kasih Pak James. Terima kasih banyak. Kita beri tepuk tangan buat Pak James. Thank you banget Pak James.
Terima kasih Pak James. Thank you.
Setengah jam yang menarik. Ini kayaknya sampai pada lupa bikin pertanyaan nih Pak James.
Pak Yos, ada Pak Yos.
Imak ada pertanyaan kita nggak Mak? Atau semuanya?
Banyak Pak.
Ada ya?
Banyak.
Oke.
Syukurlah Bu. Bu Ima syukur.
Ada Pak.
Kan kita ada supaya menjawab problem dan pertanyaan Imak. Jadi tolong dibuat problem supaya Pak James bisa share makin banyak. Go ahead
Iya,
Mak.
betul. Oke, ini ada beberapa pertanyaan, tetapi ini hampir sama ataupun ada yang sama, akan saya summarize. Jadi dalam keadaan new normal seperti sekarang, terutama kita yang menjalani WFH, itu gimana ya caranya menjaga spirit yang luar biasa agar tetap bisa produktif sesuai dengan job desk kita masing-masing?
Oke.
Pertanyaan pertama Pak, gimana caranya menjaga spirit? Yes.
Ya, teman-teman saya akan jawab setahu saya, ya setahu saya. Tapi kadang-kadang jawaban saya cocok dengan filosofi dan value perusahaan Anda, ya best practices. Kadang-kadang tidak sesuai dengan best practices Anda, okay? And I don't know what your best practices are. I don't know what your corporate values are, ya. Jadi take whatever is useful for you, take whatever is relevant for you. Tapi sesuatu yang tidak relevan abaikan saja. Oke ya, dan nanti kalaupun ya yang saya sampaikan kurang cocok, nanti para leader tolong koreksi. Tadi si James ngomong begini, bagian ini bagus, bagian ini lu jangan ikut ya, karena beda dengan kita. Oke, silakan ya, you have to filter it. Oke, dari awal saya kasih itu dulu ya. Oke, bagaimana dengan work from home kita tetap bisa semangat? Oke, ada dua aspek. Oke, dengan work from home ini, jujur lama-lama akan boring. Betul ya, lama-lama akan boring ya. In the beginning itu ada worry, khawatir. Nanti setelah sudah khawatir, finding a new way to adapt. After finding the new way to adapt, udah ketemu ritmenya. Betul ya? Begitu udah kelamaan ritmenya, bosan. That's reality. Oke, jadi saya akan jawab dari dua sisi. Oke, satu, how do you stay excited working from home? Yeah, actually, in principle, how do you stay excited about anything? Yeah, okay, working from home or not working from home, how do you stay excited? Satu, you have to stay engaged. You have to stay engaged with your team. Yeah, the more you drift away from your team, the less engaged you are, the less you get the energy from your group. Betul kan ya? Okay, it's all about energy. Ya, jadi kalau Anda engage in a group, ada diskusi, ada ini, ada itu, ada tantangan, ada marah-marahnya, itu energi kan ada di sana semua. Tapi kalau lu, ya nggak usah lah, meeting bolak-balik sama, nggak usah lah, nggak penting kok, nggak usah ikut lah, lu mulai disengage kan. Begitu lu mulai disengage, you are isolated. And once you are isolated, your biorhythm will go down. Pasti energi turun. Betul kan ya? Nggak ada orang, gue kasih tau lu ya, nggak ada. Nggak ada. Tahu nggak kemarin gitu? Nggak ada. Jadi lu isolate kayak hermit, ya, living in a vacuum. Lu gimana dapat energi? Oke, itu satu. So number one, stay engaged. Oke, walaupun yang di ngomongin, aduh gua udah tahu dah. Aduh waste time dah. Hadir. Karena lu bisa lihat wajah teman-teman. Oke ya. Nah, bubar bisa ini gini itu ada engagement. Oke, so stay engaged. Stay engaged. Don't miss meetings. That's number one. Okay, for better or worse, stay in a meeting. Okay, number one. Kedua, now you have time. Now you have time to sit back and analyze and think of ways to improve. Okay. Next, learn. You can't change what you don't know. So now you have time to learn. Tapi Pak James, lu nggak tahu, kita walaupun work from home, sibuk. Gua tahu mestinya work from home sibuk. Lu untung masih sibuk. Lebih ngeri adalah sudah work from home, nggak dikasih kesibukan. Tambah bosan itu. Tambah bosan. And you regress loh. You regress loh. Pulang ke kantor, kayak zombie loh. Suddenly because your brain was on holiday for too long. Betul ya? Okay, yeah, your brain was on holiday. You forget how to think. Seriously. Okay, you become like robot. Just do the monotone things. Out of the box, creative, connectionnya nggak ada. Okay, so you got to learn. Learn things that in the beginning are relevant to your work. Okay, how? Read autobiographies. Learn from other successful people. You will get ideas. You will get inspiration. Seriously, baca autobiografi. Okay, I'm very inspired and ini sudah terbentuk dalam diri saya because in my mind I know how the great people function. Okay, that's why real saya sudah terbentuk. Ya, karena I know how the real good people function. I read autobiographies, I read 7 Habits, I read The Purpose-Driven Life. I know those stuff. Okay, so I got it, you know. Okay, yeah, you have to have a very clear real kan. Yeah, the mindset, the attitude, the habits of successful people that will inspire you. Seriously, that will inspire you. Okay, yeah. So read, and then that's how you get excited. And then make notes. Okay, analyze how to apply this, how to apply that. Make 1 or 2 improvements in your life. Make 1 or 2 improvements in your work. And that's how you get excited. Jadi because you have little projects to do. Ya, tapi kalau lu nggak ada project di rumah, nggak ada project di kantor, nggak ada project, lu sendirian doang dan setiap hari main game, you are a zombie. You are not growing. It's impossible to be excited. Okay, you put a guy on the island, he goes crazy. Betul ya? Okay, because he's got nothing, no engagement, no books, no stimulation. Okay, yeah? No projects. His only project is to wait for a passing ship. Okay, no project. Ya kan? Dia gila dia. Ya, oke. Mudah-mudahan terjawab ya pertanyaannya. Thank you, thank you.
Ya, thank you Pak James. Teman-teman sepertinya sudah terjawab. Tadi satu pertanyaan sebenarnya memang sudah ada juga satu Pak tentang engagement tadi, tapi sudah dijawab oleh Pak James ya. Sekaligus. Nah, ini ada pertanyaan Pak.
Yes.
Dear Pak James, dari Rabin Malik nih. Regarding this COVID situation, please share with us the primary quality that needs to be in every leader. So the primary quality that needs in the leader. How to learn and apply it properly.
Okay. Leadership is the same in any situation. Okay. In fact, kalau saya mau jawab, a leader is more needed in a crisis than not a crisis. Betul kan ya? Because if not crisis, smooth sailing, people go on autopilot. Betul kan ya? I mean, if the weather is clear, the pilot can go to sleep, you know. The plane can fly on its own. The pilot needs to wake up in a thunderstorm. Betul kan ya? Okay, and a leader is called upon in a crisis. So if in peacetime you shout around and in a crisis you hide, you are not a leader. If in peacetime you like jagoan, in crisis you run out of ideas, you are not a leader. Leaders are born in crisis. The quality of the leader is shown in a crisis. Okay, yeah, okay. That's point number one, ya. Maka justru the question should be, leaders are leaders in crisis. Okay, so then what makes a leader in crisis? In a crisis, people are worried. In a crisis, people panic. In a crisis, people have no ideas. The job of a leader is to give hope in a crisis. Give hope in a crisis. Betul kan ya? And hope is not words. Hope is to say, let's do this. Let's do this. I don't know the result. I hope it gives a good result. Okay? If it gives a good result, syukur kita lanjutin. If it gives a bad result, yuk kita go back to our thinking hats and we think of something else. Okay? But let's do this first. Daripada not doing anything, let's do this first. Dengan do this first, I hope we get good results. Then there is hope, betul ya? Because hope comes in movement. And because there is movement, there is hope. So the job of the leader is to give hope by giving movement, asking them to take action. All right, yeah. So if you ask me, yeah, what must a leader do in a crisis? Number one, give hope. How to give hope? Spend more time with your people. This is the time you need to spend more time, not less time, more time. Okay, spend more time communicating to them, give hope. Yeah, sehingga looking back, yeah, begin with the end in mind. Sehingga pasca COVID, your team members will say, gila, waktu itu gue lagi blank, waktu itu gue lagi stres, waktu itu gue lagi kehilangan arah, untung ada leader gue. Dia yang arahkan gue, sampai gue bisa sail through COVID. That's all. That's all. Okay? You don't need to have the best answers. You don't need to be the most charismatic leader. You just need to give them hope. That's all. Okay, ya, simple. Ya, oke. Mudah-mudahan terjawab. Thank you.
Oke. Pak James, makasih Pak untuk jawabannya. Ini ada masuk lagi Pak dari Pak Liandra Adiputra. Pertanyaannya sebagai seorang sales. Nah, ini menarik nih. Tadi kelihatannya inspirasi profit nih Pak. Daripada COVID lebih baik profit ya Pak James ya. Nah, bagaimana menjadi seorang achiever di kondisi yang sulit seperti kondisi saat ini? Silakan Pak.
Oke. Pengakuannya kita semua sudah tahu kondisi yang sulit ini. Oke, jadi secara umum ya, saya akan bahas sales dulu ya. Katakan dalam kondisi normal, kita sebagai orang sales normal lah ya, kita tawarin ke 10 prospective customers, 1 beli. Katakan ratio 10:1, 10% success. Okay, 10%. Ya, normal time 10 1 beli. Dengan kondisi sekarang, kita udah tahu sulit, tawarin 10, nggak ada orang beli. Itu kan, nggak ada orang beli. Dan banyak orang sales, dia bilang, aduh kondisinya susah ya. Dulu tawarin 10 beli. Sekarang tawarin 10, nggak ada yang beli. That sentence is a paradox. That sentence is a paradox. Lu barusan bilang sekarang susah, tapi lu masih benchmark dengan yang lama. Bisa terima? Oke. Nah, banyak orang sales memparadoks diri sendiri loh. Mengkontradik diri sendiri. Gila ya, sekarang kondisinya susah. Dulu 10-1, sekarang 10-0. You are stating the obvious, isn't it? Right? Nah, kalau lu udah tahu kondisi susah, dulu 10-1, berarti dulu 10-1, berarti sekarang kondisi susah 21. Dapat nggak? Dapat. Berarti satu ini masih ada. Cuma lo harus lebih rajin. Nah, kalau lo nggak siap dalam kondisi sulit, 2 kali lipat lebih rajin, you nggak akan capai angka. Betul ya? So, kondisi sulit berarti mindset kita harus 2 kali lipat lebih rajin. Baru dapat angka yang sama seperti normal. Angkanya ada. Cuma untuk ketemu satu ini, lo harus ayat 20. Dulu 10, sekarang 20. Contoh analogi. Oke, lupa. Satu ya, Pak Diandra. Satu adalah dalam kondisi sulit, mentally get ready to work double hard. The numbers will still be there. Okay, that's number 1. Ya. Number 2, mindsetnya, especially dalam kondisi COVID ini, ya, kesulitan paling besar buat orang sales adalah social distancing. Kita mau ketemu pelanggan, pelanggan belum tentu mau ketemu kita. Betul kan? Because kalau nggak penting-penting amat, kalau orang yang dia kalau nggak kenal, dia nggak mau ketemu sih. Betul ya? Oke. Okay? So, itu kesulitan kita. Kita harus bisa jual ke dia tanpa duduk di seberangan dia. Berarti you have to learn new skills. New skills such as number 1, you have to learn to sell by phone. Okay, sell by phone. Ya, maksudnya apa? Dulu sebelum COVID kita juga selling by phone, enggak. Dulu sebelum COVID kita by phone make an appointment to meet, and during the meeting we sell. Betul kan? And then after that we follow up by phone again. So the phone was used to make a meeting, and the phone was used to follow up. But the phone was not used to do fact-finding, presentation, handling questions, handling objections. The phone was not to use that. Okay, now you have to use the phone to do that. Now you have to switch to video call. Now you have to go Zoom. Right? Now, many salespeople are not comfortable. Dia by video call, by phone, by Zoom, tidak selancar dia face-to-face. Akibatnya, presentationnya, sales activity-nya tidak optimal. Karena dia nggak nyaman video, dia nggak nyaman Zoom, dia nggak nyaman voice. Oke, akibatnya ini aja, peace time aja 21. Dipersulit lagi dengan lu harus 21 lewat video, lewat Zoom. Bisa jadi 30 dapat 1. Karena lu nggak lancar. Oke, sih kalau lu lancar, video pun 21. Yeah, so okay, that is probably how I can respond to you, Pak. Yeah, because the numbers, the mindset to go for numbers, and new skills to sell by phone, to sell by video call, to sell by Zoom, instead of selling at the customer's place. Yeah, that's probably the new skills you have to adapt. Yeah, and those skills, selling by phone, selling by video call, selling by Zoom, will continue after COVID. Will continue, karena jauh lebih efisien kok. Jauh lebih efektif kok. Ngapain kita ketemu orang? Kalau satu hari by phone aja bisa ketemu. Jadi kalau di Jakarta satu hari mentok 3 orang. Sekarang lu by phone 1 jam aja bisa 3 orang. Jauh lebih efektif. Yeah, so that will probably my instinct is, my feeling is 30% of selling will continue by Zoom, by video call, by phone. Okay, thank you Pak Yos.
Oke Pak. Ternyata banyak Pak mulai bermasukan. Saya coba makin panas nih Pak.
Seru.
Situasi makin panas, makin energize. Thank you tadi Pak Leandra, semoga dapat ini ya, dapat masukannya dan inspirasi dari Pak James. Ini saya coba gabung pertanyaannya sepertinya tidak bisa, tapi agak mirip dengan yang tadi sebenarnya Pak. Ini dari Ibu Gracie. How to find the best red button when you fell down? Wah, ini agak mungkin bagaimana energize ketika kita sudah in the bottom nih kelihatannya Pak.
Okay.
Silakan Pak James.
Okay. Oh, when you feel down. Okay.
Yeah, when you feel down. How to find the best red button when you felt down?
Okay. Prevention is better than cure ya.
Ya, benar Pak.
Ya, jadi gimana bisa sampai sedown itu? Okay, ya, right? Ya namanya life juga pasti ada ups and downs ya, bukan hanya work ya. In life, in relationship pasti harus ada up and down kan ya. Ya, but you can always prevent it ya by not squeezing everything together kan ya. You have to have a balanced life kan, work-life balance kan ya. Jadi setiap hari saya tanya aja, setiap hari ada rekreasi nggak? Saya bisa 1 hari 8 jam Zoom, tapi pagi saya ada waktu untuk jalan pagi loh. Sore saya ada waktu untuk goyang sepeda 30 menit, get out of the laptop, okay, and go cycle a bicycle, ya kan? Nah, sehingga kembali udah refresh. You see, on a daily basis, you need to have something called me time. You need to have your me time. Most of us are like no me time. It's mommy time, daddy time, okay? Yeah, everybody's time but your own time. Okay, you need to make your own me time supaya you nggak gampang down. Okay, because you have balance, ya. Misalnya, okay, ini waktu gua ya, jangan ganggu ya. Gua bawa sepeda lu jangan ganggu. Itu kan it's my time. See, because otherwise you feel that your time belongs to everybody but yourself. Capek loh itu, capek. Jadi kita going on overdrive. Oke ya, so itu poin 1 ya Ibu untuk menjawab pertanyaan Anda. Kalau sudah down, ada 2 pendekatan. Pendekatan itu adalah continue to work sampai the negative feeling disappears. Because down is never forever, betul kan ya? Down is never forever. Kadang-kadang down is just a feeling, and time heals all wounds, betul kan ya? So you continue to work, take your mind off that problem with your work or with other activities sehingga through that busyness pelan-pelan ini recover. Okay? Atau kedua adalah time out, put everything aside. Yeah, that's why cuti is for, betul. Cuti ya. Lu kalau udah nggak tahan, udah sampai sini, ambil cuti 1 hari, mohon dengan rekan-rekan semua, nanti hari Rabu gua cuti ya, sebelum hari Rabu gua cuti, apa saja outstanding, yuk kita clear dulu ya, hari Rabu gua nggak mau dikontak. Okay, hari Rabu gua mau dikontak. Tapi sebelum gua nggak dikontak, semua outstanding lu clear dulu. Okay, so you can plan ahead. Okay, 2 more days I will cuti. Okay, from now until 2 more days, anything outstanding, let me know first. I clear as much as possible. Hari Rabu gua cuti, tolong ya. Hanya Tuhan yang bisa hubungi gua. Okay.
Bahaya juga Pak. Ya? Kalau Tuhan yang menghubungi bahaya juga Pak.
Okay, ya, okay. Itu aja ya. Jadi
thank you. Thank you Pak.
Yeah. And the thing is this, hold on. What you focus on will grow. So if you focus on the problem will grow. If you focus on the sadness will grow. If you focus on the solution, the number of solutions will grow. If in the middle of the sadness you focus on the happy moments will grow. Okay, so what you focus on will grow. I suggest you don't focus on the depression. Yeah, okay, it is there, but you can choose to look at something else. Okay, thank you Pak.
Thank you Pak James. Ini kita ke nuansa yang agak lain Pak. Jadi ada pertanyaan dari Pak Honggi, dalam kondisi susah, mungkin agak lebih susah untuk melakukan excellence. Excellence kelihatannya lebih dalam posisi kalau positive environment. What do you think dan apa sebenarnya yang harus dilakukan?
Excellence lebih ke positive environment. Bisa ya, bisa tidak. Bisa ya, bisa tidak. Dengan kondisi kayak gini, kita lebih punya excuse untuk rombak. Kalau semua lancar-lancar, kalau kita mau rombak, kita orang jahat.
Ya,
Betul ya? Baik-baik lu,
betul,
kenapa
betul.
sih? Baik-baik lu, kenapa sih? Dalam kondisi ini, semua orang ngakui lagi susah kan ya? Jadi lebih gampang rombak, Pak. Jujur ya. Lebih gampang reshuffle. Ya, cabinet reshuffle because it's underperforming and all that nonsense kan.
Iya,
Reshuffle
iya.
ya. Kalau semua lancar-lancar reshuffle tuh orang bilang, ini kurang kerjaan nih. Ya kan? So, ya, jadi menurut saya ya, dalam kondisi kayak gini, untuk improving, untuk rombak, untuk improving the system, improving the process, this is a more opportune time. And we have more time to change than when the ship is sailing full steam. Ship sailing full steam. Kita mau kejar pekerjaan hari ini aja belum tentu kelar. Betul kan? Nah, jadi sekarang mumpung ada sedikit waktu, maybe not at all, I know. Maybe ada sedikit waktu untuk take time out. Ya, you can, okay? Dan sedikit waktu itu saya lihat dalam COVID, penghematannya adalah traveling time. Betul ya Pak Yos ya?
Betul banget Pak.
Cukup signifikan untuk kota-kota besar. At least 2 hours a day we save on traveling time. Okay, so how do you use that traveling time? Change the traveling time into thinking time, or change that traveling time into recharging time.
Oke.
You'll be fine already. Yeah, okay, so we all have 2 hours extra. Mudah-mudahan terjawab Pak. Although I know lah, in the real world, it is not so smooth sailing as that. Tapi to me, lebih gampang ada excuse untuk changing dalam kondisi problem. Yeah.
Oke. Wah, ini saya dapat pertanyaan justru dari Pak Marlo nih Pak James. Kayaknya lebih baik Pak Marlo langsung menyampaikan Pak James daripada jadi. Silakan Pak Marlo, lebih enak sepertinya. Pak Marlo silakan Pak.
Selamat pagi Pak James, luar biasa ini motivationnya. I'm one of your big admirer. You have been very illuminating and also inspiring all of us in LinkNet First Media. But I got a question for you. There has been a study by Credit Suisse that the average lifespan of an SP 500 company in the US, it was about 60 years. That was back in 1950s. And then when it was 1980s, 1990, the lifespan went down to about 25 years. And then it went down again in 2012. It went down to 20 years. And then there was a recent study in 2019 that the average lifespan of the big company that is listed in SP 500 has come down significantly to 10 years.
Yes.
Jadi ini kita lihat ya Pak, apalagi di masa-masa COVID seperti ini, itu banyak a lot of big companies that went into bankruptcy. You look at the big names like Hertz. Terus kayak misalnya kalau kita flashback kepada dunia teknologi, tadi Bapak udah sebut, dulu kita siapa sih nggak pakai BlackBerry? Ya, sebelum BlackBerry, Nokia, kita bangga sekali kalau dulu pakai communicator, inget ya, yang begini flip. And then after that, it changed to BlackBerry. And then BlackBerry went extinct, right? And now she's using either iPhone or Samsung, or you know, ada smartphone. Nah, kita sendiri LinkNet ini sudah berdiri 20 tahun, LinkNet First Media. Of course, we don't want our progress to stop at 20 years. Ya kan? Karena kita lihat banyak sekali company-company yang tadi saya udah bilang di 2019 itu Credit Suisse punya report, lifespan-nya cuma 10 tahun Pak di S&P 500. Apa yang harus LinkNet lakukan, First Media ini, supaya kita nggak menjadi one of those dinosaurs yang went extinct in, I don't know, 10 years, 20 years later, sehingga kita juga bisa terus evolve dan kita juga bisa menjadi one of the leaders in the broadband industry. Mungkin itu aja Pak James.
Wow, thank you Pak. Thank you very much Pak. Very powerful question Pak. Yeah. Well, talking about Nokia and talking about some other companies, I would just like to share this ya Pak ya. Since we spoke about Nokia, while you were talking and I was listening, I found this slide. Where is it? Let me find it. Yes, I found this slide. I want to share with everybody. Yeah, this slide. Yeah, this one. Maybe some of us have seen this slide before. Yeah, Nokia CEO ended his speech saying, "We didn't do anything wrong, but somehow we lost." Okay. Yeah. Nah, ini statement ini to me is the reason why they lost. You see, the CEO said, anything wrong.
Because He was clueless, yeah.
The CEO is not to be worried about doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
The job of the CEOs is to have breakthrough after breakthrough, betul kan? And in the process make many mistakes. Who cares? Gitu loh. So we didn't do anything wrong, and the focus of the CEO was to avoid mistakes. Come on. Okay, to me that will be one reason, yeah. And the second reason, but somehow we lost. That means after they lost, he didn't know why. He didn't know why they lost.
Yeah.
Okay, so perhaps this may one way answer your question, but yeah, continuous innovation. The continuous innovation, yeah, continuous relevance, yeah. They were not innovating. Okay, now on the other side of the story, you know the story of Jack Welch, GE, yeah. In his book, Jack Straight from the Gut, this guy was nominated, dia dinobatkan awarded the world's best CEO of the 20th century. Yeah, okay, yeah. And you know the story kan. Dari I mean, this GE teman-teman, GE ini adalah perusahaan raksasa, ya. Foundernya Thomas Alva Edison. Waktu Jack Welch dia jabat sebagai CEO, waktu itu perusahaannya sudah hampir 100 tahun. Perusahaan yang paling banggakan di Amerika, and he was the youngest CEO at 45 years old, ya kan ya. Jadi ada senior-senior semua, oke. Okay? And dia lihat realitinya. At that time GE lagi produksi mesin cuci, kipas angin, ya, and those household appliance, vacuum cleaner dan sebagainya. Dan dia udah lihat tahun 70-an. Ini perusahaan Jepang aja produksi vacuum cleaner, TV dan mesin cuci. Kirim ke Amerika, harga jual di toko sudah lebih murah daripada harga produksi GE di pabrik. Dan dia bilang ini cepat lambat kita tergilas sama barang import. Dan dia bilang we got to stop all these home appliances and go into the next future. Infrastructure, space technology, and so on. Yeah, sustainability and so on. Yeah, okay. Yeah, emerging markets. When he told that to the shareholders, they say you are crazy. Because TV, vacuum cleaner, mesin cuci itu cash cow loh. Itu lagi cetak duit semua, Pak. And what he did, against the advice of everybody, because he was the CEO, he said, I got to make a decision. Yeah, and he sold all of that divisions. Bukan hanya divisi yang dijual, karyawan yang sudah kerja di GE berpuluhan tahun pun sekaligus dijual. Pabriknya dijual sekaligus, lock, stock, and barrel they sold, and they invested millions into those new things. Okay, ya. Dan dia bilang begini, gua sebagai CEO, kalau gua lihat posisinya, ini kedepannya bahaya. Dan karena semua orang bilang gua gila, dan gua dengerin, nanti kalau ternyata gua benar, dan kedepannya kacau, perusahaan salah, gua mana bisa bilang, because of them I didn't change. Cannot. They will say, you are the CEO, you have to make decision. And if I change, dan ternyata gua keliru, cash cow itu semua mestinya nggak jual. Gua keliru, I will go down in history as the CEO who destroyed Thomas Alva Edison's company. Gua serba salah loh. And finally he decided to sell away all those and take that big jump. And today GE is still one of the most profitable companies in the world. Yalah CEO. So to answer your question, you see the contrast between the Nokia CEO and Jack Welch. Okay, it's never easy, Pak. It's never easy. But sometimes you need to go for your gut feeling. First, do your research, do your numbers. But at the end of the day, take the gut feeling aja kan ya, Pak ya. Okay, so I hope I've answered your question, Pak, in a certain way. Yeah? Thank you.
Thank you, Pak James.
Thank you.
Very good one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Pak James, baik. Makasih banyak Pak Marlo, Pak Fik. So, Pak James, it's now your conclusion time.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Sudah banyak kita sudah bicarakan lah ya dari awal sampai sekarang. Ya, jadi sekarang saya harap teman-teman bisa mengerti what is meant by excellence is an attitude and also excellence is a habit. Ya, jadi these two things. Ya, just remember, and I hope my session has helped you to understand that, and you will have in your attitude of excellence, and in your daily habits, the habit of excellence. Okay, ya. Sesi ini, well, we have done so much already. Ya, jika Anda mau kontak dengan saya, I leave you my contact here if you don't mind. Yeah, if you just want to ask me questions or anything, yeah, just here you are. just where is it? Yes, please follow my Instagram. Yeah, this is my Instagram. Yeah, there are 600 people here. I appreciate it if you can follow. Yeah, and those of you who want to tag me in your IG posts, IG stories, silakan. If you want to DM me with some more questions, please DM me with some more questions. Okay, I'll take time to answer. Yeah, but I hope everybody follows my Instagram. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you so much. I hope.
Thank you, thank you, thank you,
Excite you.
Pak Marlo.
Yeah? And
Thank you, Pak James.
I wish you more than 20 more great